Ladies and gentlemen, to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view for 2025 review. My thoughts on Money in the Bank. It was actually a solid show, very entertaining content. This is going to be a short little video. Raw is about to go on the air in about 30 minutes or so. I do apologize about not giving you guys this video a lot sooner. I was watching on Saturday night the UFC event. I really wish that WWE and UFC would stop running their major shows back, like overlapping each other and whatnot, because it makes it very difficult to watch both of them, and I'm interested in both shows. I was watching the UFC event on the TV, and I was watching the WWE pay-per-view actually on my tablet at the same time, and I was paying more attention to the WWE show over the UFC event. I just had the UFC event up and running because I wanted to see how my picks went and so forth, and a couple of my bets were on at the same time the WWE event was taking place, so I was kind of interested in how that was all going and all that. Didn't do too bad on the picks for UFC 316 actually. I went 11-2. I only lost 2 fights. Technically, I would have went 12-1 if I had stuck with my original pick during the preliminary card. I actually had the underdog originally and then swapped over to the favorite, and I had the underdog right the first time, so kind of fucked myself and shot myself in the foot on that one. WWE's Money in the Bank, I picked Becky Lynch as the person I was going to bet on, and I dabbled a little bit. I put $25 down on LA Knight. Unfortunately, I lost. I was thinking that he was going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Unfortunately, he did not. It was actually Seth Rollins. That was my second pick that I would have taken. I was thinking either one of those two were going to win. I should have thrown money down on Seth Rollins as well for both of them. That way I would at least would have won money and would have been correct on something on that match. But multi-man matches with different people that are liable of possibly winning, like in this case, LA Knight and Seth Rollins, that was definitely not easy. It was a flip of the coin between the two of them. I was surprised to see Solo Sikoa as the top favorite. He was a minus 175 for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So I was a bit surprised by that. They thought that he was going to be booked to win the match, which I found astonishing, honestly. But yeah, the matches were really entertaining. I wish I would have had enough money to bet on every match. But unfortunately, I did not to do that. So I just went with what I felt would have worked. And I bet on 2 matches. Unfortunately, one of them did not close for me, and one of them did. If you guys are at all interested in betting on WWE or even AEW pay-per-views, those are the 2 wrestling promotions I pay very close attention to, of course, since this is what I review on the channel daily. I highly recommend using BetOnline. It is a very good sports book overseas. The only thing is you want to keep up with your winnings and so forth, so you can provide this to your tax person and have them go over that with you, so that you can, if you've won too much, which is kind of hard to do because you can end up losing too. But if you want to strictly bet on wrestling, you got a very high probability of walking away with the money, with a good chunk of money at the end of the year, honestly. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the remainder of the year. Just keep the money inside the BetOnline website and then just withdraw it at the end of the year and see where I'm at. But getting off the betting, because I've been doing pretty fucking good with bets. I hit some underdogs on the UFC card, and I was very close to hitting the LA Knight pick. Surprisingly enough, Seth Rollins was an underdog for plus 275 on Bet Online. Believe it or not. But anyway, let's get into this review. The first match of the night was the women's ladder match. Naomi ends up winning the match, and I thought this was an excellent pick. I think this was a great match, very entertaining, and very fun to watch. I had a blast watching this match. I think the women did outstanding here. Was it better than last year's women's ladder match? No, because there was a lot more physicality in that one than there was in this one. But that's not going to hold this, in my personal opinion, hold this match back from being successful performance by all the women that were involved in this match. This was a fun, entertaining matchup. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars easily with no question. And, of course, Naomi walks away with the victory, who I think is a perfect pick to win that briefcase. I think it's about time she goes on and becomes a women's world champion. Whether it's being the women's world champion on Raw or being a WWE undisputed women's champion on SmackDown. I think she should go after the world title and go to the Raw side. And I think they need to possibly make a trade with Rhea Ripley, put her on SmackDown. I think SmackDown could really utilize her help in star power on that brand. I think SmackDown is the women's division on SmackDown is fucking atrocious. Raw has got a lot of good talent there. SmackDown has a few, but Raw has abundant of good talent on their show. And I think Naomi becoming the women's world champion, beating Io Sky, would be fantastic. It would also prevent her from having to be involved with Jade Cargill, possibly screwing her out of the fucking opportunity to cash in. So, I mean, my attitude is she should just want to go over to Monday Night Raw and try to win the World Heavyweight Championship from Io Sky. Just my thoughts. Anyway, moving on from that, we had I think it was Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. that was next for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a impromptu type matchup that was created in the beginning of the day, the same day as Money in the Bank was at Worlds Collide. From what I hear, Worlds Collide was actually a very entertaining show. I mean, great, wonderful. I'm not into AAA wrestling. I don't know diddly shit about it, nor do I care. If it was a good show, great. If not, well, whatever. I'm missing out on a shit show. Not like that's a big deal. This match was whatever. Really, to be honest with you, it was very quick, straight to the point. I think the match ended in like 5 minutes. Dominic Mysterio picks up an easy win. This could have been saved for a Monday Night Raw episode, honestly. I'd say this was a 2 out of 5 stars. Nothing really special happened here. Not that it was a shit match by any means, but it wasn't nothing special going on here that was even worth being on a pay-per-view type of event like Money in the Bank. Next, we had Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And my gosh, man, these two women continuously keep producing good matches together. That was a great match this past Saturday. Backlash, they had a good match. I mean, these two women are superb at what they do together. They got the chemistry like nobody's business. From what I have learned, that Becky Lynch actually trained Lyra Valkyria to become a pro wrestler, and that can definitely explain why they have such great chemistry together. So there you go. My attitude, real simple, is I think that they are fantastic together. I think that they are entertaining as fuck. They have some great matches one-on-one for the IC title. I hope we get to see another matchup between these two ladies. down the road, maybe at like SummerSlam. I'd say that Becky Lynch facing Bayley, which is what JD from New York 206 said on his channel for this review. He stated that it would be kind of cool to see Bayley come back, challenge Becky Lynch for the IC Championship at Night of Champions, and have her go over on Bayley, and then Becky Lynch later on loses to Lyra Valkyria at the SummerSlam pay-per-view event. I think that's probably the best course of action to go with. Give Becky Lynch a run with the title, give her some sort of meaningful run, face a few good, talented wrestlers along the way, like maybe one or two, like Bayley and someone else, before she loses the title back to Lyra Valkyria. I think that would be the best course of action. She ends up winning the match, though, by grabbing the tights and holding Valkyria at a disadvantage, getting the W and the 1-2-3. This led to Becky Lynch pretty much overdoing it and really just like going ahead and juicing the fuck out of the fact that she beat her and having her raise her hand. She made her raise her hand on all four sides of the ring so everyone can see it, and then also force her to have to put the title around her waist to close out the match. I thought that was crazy. But this match, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. This was a fun, entertaining match. I enjoyed watching it. I think WWE's pay-per-views this year actually has not been bad except for WrestleMania. WrestleMania, surprisingly enough, is probably the worst pay-per-view this year. Because Royal Rumble was an awesome show. Elimination Chamber was fantastic. Even without the John Cena turn, it was still a great show. They had some good action throughout the entire show. Backlash wasn't too shabby either. It was definitely, I would have to say, it was better than WrestleMania almost, in some capacity. And now we got this event that happened at Money in the Bank, and this was a good show as well. I'd say this was the third best show on the entire pay-per-view card that we got for the year so far. So yeah, I think this has been a great year when it comes to pay-per-view events for WWE, but as week-to-week televised shows, fucking boring as hell, man. I hope Raw produces a good show here. We got the world title on the line with Jey Uso and against Gunther. We got Seth Rollins in the background that might make a surprise appearance and try to cash in and possibly win the world title. We don't know yet. We may even see Goldberg help fucking Jey Uso win the match against Gunther for all we know. We don't know yet. That is to see what happens at the end of the day. I honestly think Raw tonight is going to be a 3-hour show, full 3 hours possibly, because they got a big fucking lineup for this show tonight. But anyway, moving on. We had the men's ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Solo Sikoa had his guys come out. Well, actually, it was Seth Rollins first. He had his guys come out. They were trying to help Seth Rollins capture the briefcase. Then Solo Sikoa had Jacob Fatu and JC Matoya, whatever his last name is pronounced. They had Jeff Cobb come out with Jacob Fatu to even out the odds and get things back in order. It was a fun, entertaining matchup. I gotta give them credit. 4 out of 5 stars again. This was a good match and very satisfying and very enjoyable work by all 6 men in this match. I think this was fantastic. Seth Rollins walked away as the winner. You know, predictable, but it's not like it's just because he's got the star power and that's why they gave him the Money in the Bank briefcase. This has a lot more meaning to it with a story behind it, which is going to lead into him becoming the world champion of Monday Night Raw and reigning over Raw with an iron fist. And we're going to see where this is actually going to take us with this Seth Rollins run as a heel and his new faction, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. So, should be fun to see how that all unfolds. I think the match itself was entertaining as fuck. Nothing to complain about. Really, I would have been fine with this being the main event and like putting the tag team match as the opener of the show, possibly, if you really wanted to do that. But it is what it is. Main event, we had John Cena and Logan Paul teaming together against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. This is a fair matchup. I mean, it wasn't nothing spectacular. I think the ending of the ending of the match was actually more entertaining than the majority of the match itself. Just a simplistic, straightforward tag team matchup. Nothing too extraordinarily strange or different about it. It made it stand out in any way. But R-Truth came back. He is now being called Ron Killings. Supposedly, apparently, Triple H is saying that it was all a work, which to me probably is a crock of shit. Because why would they bring him back and change his name? I honestly don't know what the hell WWE's thinking. If they have the balls and this is truly a work, which I don't lean towards that at all. But if it is a work, I'd like to know how this can be applied as a work. What, to screw with the fans, piss them off, make them think that Ron Truth Killings is gone from the company, not given any fair shake by the promotion, and what have you. I highly doubt it. There is no end game to this story that is a supposed quote-unquote work. If there is, by all means, kudos to them. But honestly, I don't believe this is a work. I think this was real. This was just, they got a lot of bad reaction from the crowd. They also noticed that R-Truth's merchandise sold like crazy even before he got fired by TKO and WWE. And they said, okay, we just made a huge fucking mistake. These fans really care about the dude. He's constantly being cheered on. This could be a big PR disaster if we stick to our guns and allow R-Truth to be, not to bring R-Truth back. So I think that's probably the direction that they went with all this. And they said, no, we're going to sign him back, get him back on the roster so that these crowd reactions that CM Punk used to get, R-Truth is getting now. And they were like, nah, we're just going to bring him back. Fuck this shit. We don't need this PR disaster. Then that's what they did. R-Truth helped Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to win this match. Cody Rhodes actually hit the crossroads on John Cena and pinned him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Logan Paul did not take the L in this match. It was John Cena himself. I was surprised by that. I thought that Logan Paul was going to take the L here, and he actually didn't. So that was very shocking. I give the match a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And honestly, I thought it was a fair main event, but I don't think this really needed to be the main event. I think the situation with the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men was more of a main event than the tag team match. But, you know, bringing back R-Truth into the WWE as a surprise ending to the show, I guess qualifies for this to be a main event. Exclude R-Truth from the whole situation. I don't particularly see this as a main event match. I would not book a tag team match over a fucking Money in the Bank ladder match for the men, who killed it and did an excellent job doing this match together. So, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Also, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. I thank you guys very much for watching. I'll speak to you again soon about Monday Night Raw. I will be doing that Tuesday night right after dinner and work. So I will speak to you guys then. So stay safe, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.